The First Sino-Japanese War erupted from August 1st, 1894 to April 17th, 1895. The two major players were China's thoroughly corrupt Qing dynasty and Japan's Meiji Empire, who were battling out to gain influence over the late Joseon-era Korea. Now, Korea had long been China's most important client state, mainly because it's a resource-rich country. It produces lots of coal and iron, making it ultra-attractive for the Japanese as well, especially when Korea is so close to Japan. So, the battle over Korea began. Japan quickly modernized their military capability thanks to the American Commodore Matthew Perry by ending the era of the shoguns, which are regional military units controlled by samurai loyal to their daimyo. Under the Meiji Emperor, however, these regional armies were replaced by a national army, and all male citizens were required to serve in the military. Meanwhile, the traditional heavyweight champion of East Asia, Qing China, failed to update its own military and bureaucracy, losing 2 opium wars to the Western powers. As the preeminent power in the region, China had for centuries enjoyed a measure of control over neighboring states, including Korea, Vietnam, and even sometimes Japan. China's humiliation by the British and French exposed its weakness, and as the 19th century drew to a close, Japan saw this opportunity and decided to exploit this opening. After a couple of decades of jockeying for position over Korea, Japan and China began outright hostilities on July 28, 1894 at the Battle of Asan. On July 23rd, the Japanese entered Seoul and seized the Joseon king Gojang, who was retitled the Gwangmu Emperor of Korea, to emphasize his new independence from China. 5 days later, fighting began at Asan. Japan cut the Chinese supply lines for its garrison at Asan by a naval blockade. Then Japanese and Korean land troops overran the 3,500-strong Chinese force on July 28th, killing 500 of them and capturing the rest. The two sides officially declared war on August 1st. Much of the First Sino-Japanese War was fought at sea, where the Japanese Navy had an advantage over its antiquated Chinese counterpart, mostly due to the Empress Dowager Cixi reportedly siphoned off some of the funds meant to update the Chinese Navy in order to rebuild the Summer Palace in Beijing, where she was planning to get buried. Surviving Chinese forces retreated to the northern city of Pyongyang and dug in while the Qing government sent reinforcements, bringing the total Chinese garrison at Pyongyang to about 15,000 troops. But, under the cover of darkness, the Japanese encircled the city early on the morning of September 15, 1894, and launched a simultaneous attack from all directions. After approximately 24 hours of stiff fighting, the Japanese took Pyongyang, leaving around 2,000 Chinese dead and 4,000 injured or missing, while the Japanese Imperial Army only reported 568 men injured, dead, or missing. With the loss of Pyongyang, plus a naval defeat in the Battle of Yalu River, China decided to withdraw from Korea and fortify its border. On October 24, 1894, the Japanese built bridges across the Yalu River and marched into Manchuria. Yalu River crossing was the beginning of Japan seizing control over Chinese cities, territories, and ports while killing thousands of Chinese civilians, such as the infamous Port Arthur massacre. Outclassed Qing fleet retreated to supposed safety at the fortified harbor of Weihai Wei. However, the Japanese land and sea forces laid siege to the city on January 20, 1895. By April, the Qing government realized that Japanese forces were approaching Beijing. The Chinese decided to sue for peace. On April 17, 1895, Qing China and Meiji Japan signed the Treaty of Shimonoseki, which ended the First Sino-Japanese War. China relinquished all claims to influence over Korea, which became a Japanese protectorate until it was annexed outright in 1910. In addition to the territorial gains, Japan received war repatriation of 200 million taels of silver from China. That's equivalent to $19,095,382 US today. Qing government also had to grant Japan trade favors, including permission for Japanese ships to sail up the Yangtze River. Manufacturing grants for Japanese companies to operate in Chinese treaty ports, and the opening of 4 additional treaty ports to Japanese trading vessels. For the first time, regional dominance in East Asia shifted from China to Japan. The humiliating loss of Korea as a tributary state sparked an unprecedented public outcry, Within China, the defeat was a catalyst for a series of political upheavals led by Sun Yat-sen and Kang Yu-wei, culminating in the 1911 Xinhai Revolution. But that's another story. For more historical topics to impress people you barely know, please like, subscribe, and share.